Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Scott Garner, and I am proud to serve as your host tonight. It is the Draper Pitch Competition Finals here at the University of Texas at Dallas. We are so excited to have you with us tonight as we celebrate innovation, entrepreneurship, and the incredible student and alumni talent here at UT Dallas. To kick things off, I'd like to welcome our first speaker tonight, the Executive Director of the Institute for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, Carol Marcus Rettmeyer.
Thank you. So good evening and welcome. Tonight marks a very major moment for us here at the university. This is our 19th year of what you have known as the Big Idea Competition. And today we are proudly continuing that legacy as the UTD Draper Pitch Competition, made possible through an extraordinary generosity of Tim Draper and the Draper Foundation. Thank you very much to Tim Draper and the Foundation. Because of their support, we are awarding $350,000 in prizes and scholarships tonight, the largest cash prize event ever in the UTD history. This is a powerful investment in ideas, ambition, entrepreneurial potential, and our students and our alumni. This year we received 181 outstanding applications for this competition. Through a rigorous preliminary round, a competitive semifinal, and now today the final, and months of hard work, we've arrived at today's top 9 that you are going to see. These founders have refined, tested, and built their ideas that they believe can make a true impact. And for the students and alumni that will be on the stage and those watching here in the audience, this is just the beginning. Tonight launches an exciting entrepreneurial journey, one that we at UTD are proud to help ignite and are committed to continue to guide. We invite our students and alumni to stay engaged with us throughout the year in our entrepreneurial programs and join us again for next year's Draper Pitch Competition. This event would not be possible without an incredible community. Thank you to our university leaders, to our distinguished VIP judges, and many mentors and our dedicated team members who made this competition possible. And thank you for being part of this journey to each of you who are here today, for supporting bold ideas, courageous founders, innovative thinkers that are going to shape tomorrow's companies. Thank you.
Carol, thank you so much. Well, next it is my honor to introduce the president of the University of Texas at Dallas, Dr. Prabhas Mogia.
Can we have the lights on the audience, please? I just want to ask questions of the students. Is it possible to do that? There we go. A little bit like less lighting so that they're not so exposed. There we go. There we go. Thank you. Well, all right, perfect. Good evening. Students, good evening. No, come on, you can do better. Good evening. Awesome, awesome. I'm guessing that some of you at the back there are here by your own will. You're not being forced to be here. Is that right? Is that right? Okay. So, I am so thrilled. Friends, we're a family, and this is like the best part of being at UT Dallas is bringing our most audacious minds, right? I've been talking to many friends from outside. By the way, I've been here about 7 months. I moved from New Jersey. One of the things that I worked on in New Jersey was, and you probably heard of a great inventor called Edison, yes? Okay, came from Jersey, was one of the most prolific inventors out there. You probably heard of Bell Labs. Yes? Okay. The Bell Labs was one of the fountains of innovation in the United States. They are the ones who developed amazing new things like a Unix operating system, and many discoveries that not only led to Nobel Prizes, but also led to fundamental innovations. Well, guess what? In my job at Rutgers, the governor of New Jersey said, there's a big hole in the ground right next to the New Brunswick train station. For those of you that have no idea what New Brunswick is, imagine New York City, and imagine traveling down south along the shoreline. You've heard of the Jersey Shore? Yes? Students, why are you so muted today? So imagine coming down this Jersey Shore all the way down to Washington, D.C., through Philadelphia. Somewhere in between is this town of New Brunswick. And the idea was to create a compelling stop for the trains that came down from New York to stop in New Jersey, right? Usually New Jersey is the state that you just pass by. There are many terms for it, but let's just say it's passing by. In this big hole that was dug in the ground, the idea was to stand up something amazing. 8 years later, I am proud to tell you, and you can Google this, and look up New Jersey Helix, Helix. One of the largest innovation exchanges in America has just taken shape on the East Coast of America. One of the most vibrant metro corridors in America today. Friends, that is both an exemplar and that is also our competition. I am telling you as Texans, Texas, wake up, create the next exemplar for innovations and entrepreneurship here in one of the most booming metroplexes in America. They're saying now, yeah, applause. You know what the forecasts are saying? So long as the traffic on Dallas North Tollway and Highway 75 and all that doesn't hold us back, the forecasts are saying we're going to edge out Chicago and become the #3 city in America, right, in the next 10 years. So I'm asking you a simple value proposition. As this city grows, we will need to be the university as a university for STEM, business, humanities, social sciences, and the arts. We need to be the university that brings our best minds to solve the problems of society, of humanity, and of the human condition. And you know what we have that no one else has? Folks, do you know what we have that no one else has? We have those people sitting at the back. You see, people in the front, turn around and look at the people in the back. Turn around, look at them. These are the minds up there. Those are the minds that are going to fuel the innovation rise in Texas. Because these are some of the best minds that UT Dallas attracts. And we are one of the best. We're ranked #1 in North Texas amongst the publics. We're ranked #3 in Texas overall. We're #4 in the nation for National Merit Scholars. But I'm proud of the fact that 1 in 4 students sitting back there is coming from a first-generation to college family. You know what? Some of those students are the brightest students that Texas has not discovered. And that is my job as the 6th president of UT Dallas to bring them into the fold, cultivate those minds, and then unleash them. All I need to do is unleash them so that you, the friends out there in the ecosystem, can then work wonders. So the dream is the following. The dream is to take this kind of a pitch competition and multiply it by 10. In order to multiply it by 10, we need 10 times the number of students coming in from all over America and abroad to UT Dallas. So UT Dallas will be known as a place that attracts the most innovative and disruptive thinking students. And then it's our job at UT Dallas to make sure that we give them the most stimulating spaces to think broadly, possibly to fail forward, to pivot, to get seasoned, and to get better. Because students, guess what? The best entrepreneurs that you know of today have failed repeatedly, picked themselves up, pivoted, gotten seasoned, and tried and tried and tried again, and then they became these amazing entrepreneurs you know today. They were not afraid to try and to fail. And that mindset, we have got to imbue into your minds. And for that, I'm going to rely on our friends from Richardson and from North Dallas and from North Texas and from the DFW Metroplex, from Austin, from San Antonio, and from all the other places, including Houston, the East Coast, the West Coast, the Midwest, and abroad. So my dream is to launch a venture foundry at UT Dallas that's going to multiply these efforts. And it's going to create an ecosystem where our faculty, our inventors, our researchers are alongside you, the students. Our entrepreneurs in residence from elsewhere, our angels, our venture capitalists, our private equity firms, all the way from the family foundations to Old Parkland to the Capital Factory, multiplied by 10, have to find a way to be welcomed at UT Dallas. And when that happens, friends, we will stand up that exemplar. Like the NJ Helix, we will have something here that competes with the West Coast around Stanford, with the East Coast around One Kendall Square, around University City in Philadelphia, around Tech in Atlanta, around Rice University in Houston, and around the tech focus around Austin. That's when DFW will be known as a place of innovation, and a public research university is central to creating that beating heart. That is my dream. I am confident that we will succeed because we have an amazing team of deans and faculty and amazing people that we're recruiting here. I am so thankful for the amazing minds that we have here judging today's contest. And remember, only 9 of you are going to be brought out on the stage at the end of the day. But let me tell the rest of you that will not be here. You're going to pick yourself up and you're going to try. You're going to be thinking smarter and outside the box, and then you will be on to your next big wins. Remember, this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. And you're going to continue to work at this because ultimately the goal is simple. The goal is to improve the human condition. And that's the way that we're going to restore the trust in higher education, because we as a public university is here in service of our communities. I wish you well. I hope you enjoy the tension in the room, which is palpable, but also celebrate the great talents that are coming with you. And I can't tell you how proud I am to be your president of this amazing university we call UT Dallas. Thank you.
Thank you so much, President Mogi. Fantastic. We now have a short video message from one of the true legends of venture capital and entrepreneurship, the founder of Draper Associates DFJ and Draper University, Tim Draper.
Hey, I'm Tim Draper, and I'm sorry I'm not there with you, but I'm honored and thrilled to be a part of the UT Dallas Pitch Competition. I think you are going to completely transform the world. I am so excited to hear about all the different companies that you're going to be presenting. I think entrepreneurship is such an important part of our world economy, and you are doing something about it. I'm going to be looking for anything in any of the various industries in the world, ideally something that's challenging the status quo, and maybe coming up with something that's a little bit weird, controversial, interesting. And ideally it's in your own field, but if not, it would be great if it's a coin opportunity, if it's an opportunity in space or transportation, or in this new world of moving from chemotherapies to biocures in medicine, or where AI meets robotics. We think those are all really exciting fields. And whatever you're doing, I'm sure it's exciting too. I can't wait to see what comes out of UT Dallas. Go get them. Have a great conference or a great business plan competition. I look forward to seeing not just the winners, but all of them.
All right, now joining us is Subha Zaim, Head of Investments at Draper University Ventures.
Well, hello. Hello, everyone at the back. Okay, not bad. Well, it's a pleasure to be amongst all of you today, representing the Draper ecosystem. So who here, so show of hands, has anyone heard of Draper before or connected with the Draper ecosystem or the funds in our ecosystem or pitched to apply at any of our pitch competitions or... Okay, amazing show of hands, but also something that I was expecting. So, no other way to say this, but the Draper family is the founding family of venture capital in Silicon Valley, starting with the formation of the first fund in 1958. Tim Draper's grandfather, William Henry Draper Jr., was that person. Bill Draper, Tim Draper's father, seeded companies like NVIDIA. Tim Draper, the third generation, took the Draper name global. And his VC career literally launched by him he borrowed $6 million from the government, and he took a bet on 6 companies, 6 startups. And 5 of them went to IPO. So that launched his career. He then went on to find funds like DFJ, and he literally became one of the early checks in companies like Tesla, pre-Elon, Colossal Biosciences, SpaceX, Hotmail, Skype, Cruise Automation, which otherwise now, you hear about Waymo and you hear about all other self-driving cars, but back then, we only knew Cruise Automation. His children, the 4th generation, now have their own funds. You may have heard of them, maybe. Boost VC, Halogen Ventures, Path Ventures. So this is a family legacy. I might be biased in saying this, but I don't think it's celebrated enough. But just to continue, he did officially found the Draper ecosystem in 1985. And fast forward to 2012, when there was a sentiment going amongst VCs that entrepreneurs can't be trained. They're born with it. And those are the ones that we want to invest in. But Tim, having the rebellious and fun nature that he has, to all of you, he may be Tim Draper, but to us, he's our Dumbledore. So, okay, not a lot of Harry Potter fans, I see. So, Tim being Tim said, that's not true, and I'm going to prove it. Challenging that notion, challenging the status quo, and that's how he pioneered startup education in Silicon Valley, and he founded Draper University. He was literally the VC who was sourcing the first class of 2012 by himself with his one partner. And he was like, I'm going to train them, I'm going to mentor them, I'm going to show them the ropes, and I'm also going to be their first check. That took a lot, but that's who he is. That's what this family is. And that's what this ecosystem is all about. So he did, in fact, in 22, I got to interview, I was having goosebumps when I was interviewing her. I got to interview one of those alumni that after 50 rejections, Tim was her first yes, and she was a solo founder. And long story short, she went on and got acquired by Boston Scientific for $275 million. And she wrote a book on it. Yes, she became an author, but before that, she also became the first partner at YC and went on to make her own investments in early stage biotech companies. So not only did Tim invest in her company, she became a venture capitalist who paid it forward, right? And so it's like a ripple effect. What you do just continues, your legacy continues, and you don't know who you're inspiring. But, lost my chain of thought, but those are some of the ways that Draper University continues the Draper legacy. We still invite early stage entrepreneurs, and when I say that I mean students with world-changing ideas that are building for the next 100 years, and then finding a way to make us live for that long to witness the change that they're going to bring and build. And we're not only sourcing those founders, but we like being first, second, and third checks. We like being the first yes after these founders have said, have heard, no, your idea is crazy, it's sci-fi. Now it's called deep tech, but back then it was called crazy. So, if you are someone who has this crazy idea and you will not give up on it and it keeps you awake at night and you know it's going to change the world and you're looking to build your team and you're looking to learn from Tim Draper, be mentored by him, call him your Dumbledore, and be part of the Draper ecosystem and carry that legacy forward, I would love to connect to you, even if you're at pre-seed stage, seed stage, or now it's early Series A. We have a whole ecosystem, and we're open to dialogue to see how we can work with you, or even be your customers. So, well, that's us in a nutshell, and thank you for having me. And thank you to UT Dallas.
All right, thank you, Suba. Well, next, please welcome the Dean of the Naveen Jindal School of Management, Dr. Hassan Perkul.
Thank you. Notice they placed me strategically at the end, and they gave me 3 minutes, so I will try to fit everything I have to say in 3 minutes. Now, I'm officially the old guy at UTD now, so I have to give you a little bit of a perspective. Carol mentioned this is the 19th year we are doing this. Not exactly this, but something like this was done 19 years ago. In fact, 26 years ago, I have to kind of acknowledge the beginnings of all this at UTD. 26 years ago, Joe Picken, and I know Joe is not here tonight, Joe Picken walked into my office and said, I have an idea. I want to do entrepreneurship at UTD. And that's how it all started. So it's been going on for quite some time. Many people have contributed to it over the years, particularly this institute. I have gone through many leaders, and when we set this up many years ago, we did not want it to be a school institute. We wanted to be a university level institute. So at first reported to the provost, then to the Vice President of Research, and finally to the Vice President of Innovation, Research and Innovation. So I have to recognize and thank Joe Pancrazio. Joe was somewhere here tonight. Thank you, Joe. Joe has really helped tremendously and supported this institute and facilitated its success. And Carol has been working very hard. Our faculty and colleagues that have not only supported the institute, but also stood up our degree programs and have done a great job in that. So Michelle and all my faculty colleagues that are out there, thank you, past. Yes, thank you. I don't like to brag, but I'm going to brag a little. Today, our MS in entrepreneurship, innovation and entrepreneurship degree is ranked by Princeton Review as the number 12 school in the nation. That's not something that comes easily. So a lot of people have been working on this a long time. Our undergraduate program is also ranked in the top 20. So, you know, there has been quite a bit of work done. Many companies started, many successful companies actually started throughout these years. But now with the help of Draper Foundation and Tim Draper, we are going to take the next step. And so I wanted to introduce tonight Draper Scholars. We have started Draper Scholars program every semester. We are recruiting 10 students regardless of their degree throughout the university and regardless of their level. Undergraduate, graduate, they're all welcome. They sign up for one course in the Jindal School, and throughout that semester, through a flexible program, we help them start, ideate, and start their companies. This is repeatable 3 semesters. It comes with some money to help start things up, and it comes with, more importantly, a lot of help and advice and support. So Draper Scholars are here. The first group of Draper Scholars are here today. Please rise and be recognized. There are 4 graduate students and 6 undergraduate teams. So it's a good group, and we'll be recruiting the next class for next fall and next spring another 10. So those who are in the audience, get ready and apply. We look forward to hearing your ideas and your vision. So I wanted to finish with that. Thank you, Tim Draper. Thank you, Draper Foundation. We believe this program will take us to the next stage. So thanks for being here.
All right, thank you so much, Dean Percool. And another thank you to all of our speakers tonight. We appreciate you so much. Well, deciding tonight's winners, certainly no easy task. So let's introduce the judges who are going to do that tonight. Susie Batiste, CEO and founder of Poopery and Supernatural. George Brody, chairman of TurboStart Global. James Dowd, partner at Waxahachie Village Equity Partners. And Subha Zaim, head of investments at Draper University Ventures. Thank you guys so much for your time, your expertise, your thoughtful evaluation. We appreciate that. Your insights, your support means so much to us, so much to the students, to these entrepreneurs. And now it's time for the moment that we have all been waiting for. It's time to get to the final pitches. We have 3 tracks tonight: undergraduate, graduate, and alumni. And each team has worked incredibly hard to get to this stage. And today they're going to present their innovative ideas to us and to our distinguished panel of judges for sure. And after each presentation, the judges will have 5 minutes of Q&A with each team or individual tonight. So let's get started. And we're going to begin with the undergraduate track tonight. First up, it's Nathan Rush with PoolControl AI. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Hi, my name is Nathan Rush, and this little guy, that was me when I was 5 years old, and I nearly drowned. I went to a water park for the first time. There was a lifeguard right above my head, and he didn't see me for over a minute. And in these situations, seconds count for lives. And luckily, my friend's mom pulled me out of the water, but I was traumatized from this experience. And this is what led me to become a lifeguard and have me dive into water safety. And so the CDC says thousands die and tens of thousands more are injured in lifeguarded facilities every year. And you know what the problem is? Lifeguard training is outdated. It's been the same for 50 years. At the beginning of every summer, 10, 50, 100 lifeguards are all trained together, and some slip through the cracks. Just like the lifeguard who didn't save me, he was never followed up with, he was never assessed on his lifeguard skills, and thus he could have ruined their life. And you know, without systems in place to address lifeguard training, institutions, water park operations, facilities, they drown and people lose their lives. And that equates to $1.5 billion in lifeguard-related lawsuits every year. And what do these departments need? Well, they need a solution that addresses lifeguard training, analyzes who is making mistakes, and most importantly, saves lives. The solution, PoolControl AI. With PoolControl, you're able to track, analyze, and improve your lifeguard department in a simple manner by using our AI agents to conduct tests on lifeguards. With PoolControl, managers get oversight they have never had before. Now, taking a look into our app, PoolControl relays information such as who is failing, why they are failing, and most importantly, what steps need to be taken to make sure this individual does not claim a life. Now, starting in 2026, we have the privilege of working with Great Wolf Lodge, the #1 indoor water park in Texas. And during this period, we're projecting that we're saving Great Wolf Lodge $120,000 in liability expenses. And more importantly, we prevented 16 incidents from occurring. And even more importantly, 0 kids have drowned. Now, you can stick with simple group training or my biggest competitor, camera AI detection tools, but when you use PoolControl, you're getting a proactive tool that's addressing lifeguard performance, and more importantly, you're not just getting software, you're getting the expertise from industry professionals such as myself. Now, moving into this market, we estimate that there's over 300,000 facilities in the US alone that employ lifeguards. That's a $4.5 billion market opportunity for PoolControl. Now, how we're actually going to move into this market, we already have 100+ industry contacts of directors across the world. And we've had the privilege of setting up on-site demos with these directors where we're going to show them what we can do for their departments. And through this, we've been able to work with Great Wolf Lodge, and we're projecting that we're going to save them 89% in liability just in 2026 alone. Now imagine what we can do for all 26 of their locations, over $100,000 average liability costs for each of them. And now, moving into the next summer, we plan to deploy in 5 facilities starting this summer. And in the next summer, 5 more. And after we continue to improve our product, assess what we can do for lifeguards, the opportunities are truly endless. And I couldn't have done this without an amazing team. I'm Nathan Rush. I've been an aquatics supervisor and trainer for over a year. I personally conducted 2,000 lifeguard tests, trained 200 lifeguards, and saved 26 individuals. My CTO, he's a top 100 software engineer intern in the world. And my advisor, Lindsay, she's been in the industry for over 20 years. So you're not just getting our software, you're getting industry expertise. Now, I'm going to leave you with this. No child should ever die in a lifeguarded facility. With PoolControl, we save lives. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Nathan. Judges, you have 5 minutes to ask questions.
Hey guys.
Thank you. That was a wonderful pitch.
Thank you, ma'am.
My first question would be, just to start, deep diving, what are the metrics that you would be looking at to analyze the lifeguards?
Yes, so within our system, we're addressing certain qualifications that lifeguards have. For example, if they are scanning people correctly in their pool, if they're performing correctly in simulated drowning incidents, where we'll have our managers actually jump into the pool and our AI agent walks them through this process. Actually, the most important one, in my opinion, is if they know their first aid protocols, because that is a major pinpoint for where a lot of liability comes into play. With our system, we walk through our testers, our supervisors, and managers, so that they know what to look for, and following those tests, we're able to remediate those lifeguards, and that's why it's so important to have an individualized system like PoolControl.
And then what does the business model look like? How are you going to charge your customers, and who are your customers going to be?
Yeah, of course. So we're currently targeting businesses, of course. We're mainly targeting larger resorts. We're also targeting seasonal facilities for a smaller start. But our model is $19.99 per month per full-time lifeguard. And in that model, we want to give managers every aspect of what our tool can do, because I don't believe in setting paywalls for something that provides safety. But moving forward, we're sticking with that model. If we're going to adjust our price, that will come with more experience.
Question. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you mentioned the competition.
Yes.
So the camera systems versus your product.
Yes, sir.
What are the advantages you have?
So one of the major advantages is that it's really expensive to get these cameras, but the biggest thing that I see is they're not proactive, and you can't have a camera jump in and save an infant who is already drowned in a pool. If a camera detects that someone's drowned, maybe they're having a seizure, someone still has to jump in, save that individual, know their skills, be able to pull them out, and then they have to know the correct first aid procedures. With a camera, you're investing hundreds of thousands of dollars for something that doesn't even ensure safety.
Could you tell me how, can you tell me how you're going to address your legal liability exposure?
Yeah, so that is a major pinpoint, but for us, we make sure to work with our companies, tell them, hey, we're not liable for anything that happens. We provide you a good tool that will build up your safety procedures, but at the end of the day, we're not putting any liability on ourselves, because we understand there's still opportunities for people to drown, people to have injuries. We offer basically an insurance policy with additional tools.
Hi. It seems like there are a lot of people required to manage, right? The lifeguards. How much is online training versus in-person training, and how do you handle that?
Yeah, so our tool is meant for in-person training, but to just give a little bit of insight on what it would actually look like, a manager or supervisor could simply use their phone to fill out tests with the use of our AI assistant who's walking them through the process. And I love this tool because in major water parks, there's 20, 30, 40 supervisors and 100 lifeguards, and there's no way to have everybody in the same boat, so to speak. So with this tool, you're able to track everything in an overall system, and that's why I'm so glad we have Sulman on board, because he's been a cloud engineer at Verizon for 2 years, and he's able to create these large systems.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Judges, are we good?
Yes, just the last question,
All right.
if we
Oh,
have
go
time.
ahead. You have time?
Okay. Well, again, just to double down on the competition, there are such solutions in different industries, which a software goes into a camera and then it addresses trespassers or something like that. How are you going to scale this or stay ahead? Like, what is the bigger vision here? I know this could be something that you're starting with, and then you could have a bigger vision. So can you talk to us about that? How are you going to?
Yeah, so the biggest vision is eventually moving into other spaces, such as moving into training for other industries, but also on your point about camera systems, we would like to start using camera data. While I did sort of push camera AI systems away from me, collecting data from those systems can actually help our product as we continue to scale and create partnerships with bigger resorts and bigger water parks. But yeah, the market across the world for this is truly immense, and we're the first product on the market specifically like this.
All right, thank you so much, Nathan. It's Nathan Rush with PoolControl AI. Now it's time to welcome Ferdinand Ahmed to the stage to present Sales Pilot.
everybody. Oh, wait a second, looks like I'm getting a call. Hey, it's Dean from Toyota McKinney. How can I help?
Hey, I'm searching for a sky blue RAV4. Do you guys have any?
Let me check here. It looks like I've got 2 in stock for you, an XLE and an XSE.
Okay, I'm actually going back and forth with Richardson. They offered me 34 out the door. Can you guys beat that?
I mean, here's the thing, man. We're already pretty competitive on price. You know, Richardson has a good price for you, but why don't you come in and, That call just lost my dealership $30,000. And I thought it went fine, you know. I was friendly, I was respectful, but no one told me exactly what went wrong. The fact that I didn't build rapport with the customer, or the fact that I wasn't conversational, and even the fact that the last thing he wanted to hear was how competitive we are on price. You see, it's not just me. 67% of buyers call during the purchase journey, making it the #1 direct interaction between a buyer and a salesperson. You see, the goal of every single one of those calls is super simple. Just set the appointment. Yet 72% of salespeople never even ask for one. What's going on? After 17,000 calls at Toyota, I realized that our sales team only began getting better after introducing a sales coach months down the line. But here's the problem with that. A sales coach costs $50,000 a year minimum. And even then, most independent dealerships simply can't afford it. The ones that can, well, that sales coach only sits in on a fraction of calls, and salespeople keep making the same mistakes over and over. This is an entire industry, bleeding sales, one call at a time. There had to be a better way. Sales Pilot is that better way. Sales Pilot connects directly into your existing phone system, and it takes the call, no extra steps, 2 layers of AI analyze it. 1, analyzing your tone, your confidence, your hesitation, and the second, analyzing your words, your mis-ask, the objections that the customers threw at you. It doesn't just memorize what you said, but it memorizes exactly how you said it. It then flags exactly what went wrong. On that RAV4 conversation, it would have flagged the fact that I said we're already competitive, and it would have said that was a terrible, terrible way to respond to that. And then next, it's not just me, it coaches you. It'll tell you exactly how to fix that mistake that you made, and it'll tell you what to do next time. Not just some generic tips, but exact language for exact situations. Now here's where it gets better, guys. Sales Pilot remembers every single dealership, every single salesperson, and every single call. A salesperson from the outside has never sold a RAV4 in McKinney, Texas, and neither has a sales coach. But Sales Pilot has heard every version of that conversation happen. We tested our product at Planet Cars, 4 reps, 30 days. And over those 30 days, we were able to yield 26% increase in appointment rate, 12% increase in sales per rep, and an 8.7x ROI. We hit the ground running with our results. We went live. Now we have 4 dealerships, 30 plus salespeople using our products, and $4,000 in monthly recurring revenue in just 20 days. Our business model is simple, a B2B SaaS for dealerships, $7.99 a month per location, depending on salespeople, outbound calls for gather, and paid advertisement for advertising. Our market size, huge. Our TAM right now, 18,000 independent dealerships in the US, $799 per dealership for $172 million of a total addressable market. And by the end of 2026, we are targeting $480,000 of annual recurring revenue. Recordings exist, analytics exist, scalable coaching simply does not. Gall and Chorus, they're built for enterprise teams. They have, somewhat similar technology, some could say, but they've never called an independent dealership. That's our market, not theirs. And a human coach, well, just think about the last 10 meals you've eaten. That's how easy it is to forget a conversation. Here's our team. We've lived the problem, not just researched it. And our marketing has 3 years of social media management experience, and our lead developer, Rama, has 7 years of Python and C++. And with my industry experience, we're taking Sales Pilot to the next level. Every day, dealerships open their doors, Sales Pilot make mistakes, and go home. They deserve better than silence after every call. Smarter conversations and measurable revenue. Sales Pilot. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Fardeen. Judges, 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh, I have so many questions. Thank you for doing this. Being someone that manages a lot of salespeople, this is great. How do you transfer that knowledge with turnover of salespeople? Does someone start from the beginning, or is there some ramp-up training that they have when they first come on board?
So it's more so training after every single call, less of like a booklet or like a slideshow to go through. So it's more so building a profile around a specific salesperson, like someone who misses objections frequently or doesn't ask for an appointment. And it pinpoints these weaknesses per salesperson, so it knows that this guy doesn't do this and maybe this guy's really good at this. And it'll give training to the people based on what they lack. So it kind of just reads that data, and then it also reads the dealership data as a whole. Maybe one dealership keeps getting hit by objections from another, and vice versa.
Yeah, I think you could add on probably a beginning training as well once you assemble all the data.
Absolutely.
Great presentation. Just one question. What stage is your company in? Are you making sales already, or?
Correct. We're not pre-revenue. We're simply pre-scale. We are making sales right now. We have 4 dealerships that we have contracts with, and that's the stage we're at. And now we're just really looking to build our systems and just scale up, keep marketing.
Because the market has got need. There's a company that's based here in Dallas itself using AI bots, scaling like crazy. So there's opportunity definitely here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one more thing that I'd like to add on is we're not staying in the automotive industry. We're just using that as a wedge, because we just know the industry really well and the pain points. So we're just using it as a wedge to build our revenue, build our systems, and then go into other call-heavy verticals such as service-based businesses or insurance and things of that sort.
Thank you.
Could you address your pricing structure? Because if I heard that correctly, I think it's one price fits all.
Absolutely. So I didn't address the rest of it just for the sake of time, but it is typically $799 per month because most independent dealerships have less than 10 salespeople. But when we jump from 10 to say 15, it goes to $1,099. And then if you have 40 plus salespeople, we're jumping to the $5,000 range. So it really just depends on the credits the salespeople are using through our APIs per month.
So just to confirm, it's based on the number of salespeople, not the number of calls.
Correct, based on the number of salespeople.
So, great presentation. There are stealth startups that are replacing the sales people altogether. Where they're working on, you wake up and you have all of these meetings lined up for you in your calendar, and there's an AI debriefing you about what those meetings are going to be about today. So how are you going to scale this in that era?
Absolutely. Would you be able to repeat the question again? I'm sorry, I'm a little out of it. I had 9 stitches yesterday.
You're good. I will repeat it. You did great. So there are startups working in stealth that are, they're working at it, they're maybe venture-backed or not venture-backed, but they're working on this idea and they're pitching it, where they're like, we're going to replace the salesperson, the human altogether. And you wake up and there are meetings lined up for you, and you just have to do the talking, and so those meetings are already there. The appointments that you're talking about are already there. The salespeople don't have to get those appointments. So how are you going to scale around that?
Absolutely. Now, that's an amazing question. And I think this really comes down to the core of why people buy from people. In the sales world, one thing that we're taught, very aggressively is be friends with your client. That's the biggest thing. Before you're the information guy, before you're the numbers guy, you need to know how to become friends with people. And that's something that's always been emphasized in the sales world, and that's something that I really think will stick, and is one of the key reasons why maybe you bought your last car at a certain dealership versus one down the street that's selling it for the same exact price. And I think it's truly about that salesperson and building that connection, and the comfort factor with having a person in the industry. So I think we're going to eventually decrease the turnover rate in the sales industry, and as salespeople get better, they have a bigger pipeline, and they just have more repeat customers coming to them, therefore expanding that.
One last question. Have you thought of gamification, of gamifying
Sorry, one more time?
Have you thought of gamification, like gamifying, like competition between salespeople and progress, those sort of things?
Absolutely. We haven't figured out the complete structure yet, but we did think of a kind of incentive pool where the managers would actually be paying for it. So say it's a trip, say it's a gift card, something in the range of $500 to $1,000 for the top salesperson that month. And we could have different kinds of prizes for, say, the one who improved the most versus the one who's consistently on that leaderboard. And with the database that we've built, it tracks every single salespeople, so they can see how they're doing against their peers, and create some friendly competition there.
All right, Fardeen, thank you so much. Judges, thank you very much. Let's give them another round of applause. And now for our final undergraduate pitch, which comes from Ivan Tong with MedScepter.
Three years ago, I was dispatched to this call. Male, mid-40s, found unresponsive. I spent the last 6 months in EMT school training for this. So I knelt beside him ready to go, and the adrenaline just hit. I remember my mind started going blank, he wasn't breathing, I couldn't find a pulse. I remember I started CPR, but my hands were everywhere. And what I didn't find out until later was that he had a gunshot wound in his back and was bleeding out the entire time. He died, and it was my fault. Fortunately, this was not a real patient. It was a practice scenario for a job interview, and as you can probably guess, I did not get the job. But while mine was just a simulation, over 4,000 people die every single year from EMS-related mistakes. And if that wasn't bad enough, when I interviewed over 100 other EMTs, 96% of them said that they did not feel prepared when they entered the field. Why? Because there's a huge difference between memorizing textbook content and actually applying it to a patient. That's when I realized that there has to be a better way to train our future medical first responders. Introducing MedScepter, an AI patient simulator that lets you assess and treat a patient in real time. You can talk to the patient, listen to lung sounds, perform treatments, and when you're done, it gives you personalized feedback on exactly what to improve on. What this does is it drills the step-by-step framework that every EMT needs to know so that when the adrenaline hits, they don't freeze. It's the same national framework that every EMT school uses, and it's working. We found that after just 5 scenarios, students typically see a 75% increase in their scenario pass rates, a 26% boost in their confidence, and a 33% improvement in their assessment scores. And as you can see, our students, they love it. But we're not only seeing success in the classroom. MedScepter is currently generating $125,000 in annual recurring revenue, which is up 62% in the last month alone. We've helped train over 7,000 EMTs, have 2 institutional partnerships, and won first place at the National Collegiate EMS Conference in Washington, D.C. So, why are so many students flocking to MedScepter? Well, VR headsets that specialize in healthcare training cost $3,000 a year. Video platforms like In-Situ let you watch a scenario, but not actually practice one. And ChatGPT is just going to make up a medication and kill your patient. MedScepter is the only platform that is realistic, affordable, and convenient. And speaking of affordable, anyone can try MedScepter for free. And if you like it, $20 a month gives you unlimited access to all of our patient scenarios. And for just $5 more, you also get access to our test question bank to prepare for a written exam. In institutions, they get bulk discounted pricing depending on their size. This gives us an incredible market. There are over 100,000 new EMS professionals certified every year, creating a $7 million market. And on top of that, the 1,200 EMS training programs, 27,000 fire departments needing ongoing training, and you have a $240 million opportunity. And once we expand into emergency care training, we're talking physicians, nurses, $3 billion. And that's exactly how we're going to take that. Firstly, paid testimonials on social media, where real EMTs share their MedScepter experience. With this strategy, we already hit over 5 million views across social media platforms, and for every $1 we put into marketing, we got $9 back. Secondly, we're posting over 100 times a month in online communities like Reddit, where students are already asking for our solution. We're also hosting a booth at the International Rescue and Emergency Care Association conference this June, and we have a very clear sales pipeline that has led to 2 institutional pilots in 1 week alone. And by the end of the year, we're also, got a little excited. I'm gonna back it up a little bit. Sorry. Since launching our MVP last October, we've grown to over 700 paying customers, which is largely due to launching our marketing campaign just last month. In the summer, we're expanding to paramedics, and by the end of the year, expanding into nursing. By the end of the year, we're also on track to hit over $1 million in annual recurring revenue, which only increases exponentially as we expand into adjacent markets. And in the next 5, 6, maybe 7 years, these are the top 3 companies that are most likely to acquire us. Best of all, we're the perfect team to execute this. My name is Ivan. I'm an EMT captain at one of the best collegiate EMS organizations in the nation, a social media influencer with over 100,000 total followers, and UTD's 2025 Texas Business Hall of Fame awardee. Outside of EMS, I manage distribution for 8-figure companies and YC-backed startups, and our CTO, David, is a former software engineer at NASA and Hamming AI, another YC company. And finally, our clinical director, Nicholas, is a paramedic instructor who verifies all of our scenarios. So, together, let's improve EMS training to help save more lives. Thank you.
Ivan, thank you. Judges, 5 minutes.
If I understand with the EMT, typically when they address a situation, they're in contact with an MD, typically? They call ahead, they call the hospital?
Yes, when they're en route, but not necessarily like while you're on the call. I mean, yes, when you're on transfer to the ambulance, but if you're on the call assessing the situation right there, you're not calling the MD right there.
Okay. I guess where I was going with that initial question was, how do you address the gap between EMT and MD, and is there a connection that you have or plan to have with a larger medical base?
Okay, so that's a great question. And so when it comes to EMTs giving communications to MDs, that all comes down to our radio report. So that means that our radio report as we're en route to the hospital, and also our radio report when we arrive to the hospital and hand it off to them, right? And so our platform has that radio report built in. We tell them, like, when you're en route, when you say, okay, I'm at the hospital now, we tell them, okay, give your report, and we grade you based on that report.
Okay, now it's working. So again, good problem to solve here. One of the questions is, if you were to kind of sell it to ideal customer, if you had a magic wand, who would be the ideal customer for you to make your numbers?
So just to clarify the question, it's who is my current ideal customer right now?
No, you're making, but the great thing is that you're already making paying customers you have. But are you, if you were to land a big fish to get your numbers to grow?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. I was actually hoping someone would ask that. So basically right now we are very focused on B2C, mostly because that's also my specialty from all the social media marketing and all that. It's also the easiest to immediately get into. You know, you don't have to worry about those large sales cycles. But as we transition, we want to move on to B2B. We want to have lower churn, higher LTV, and yeah, we just want to make sure that we focus on the B2B side as we transition using this like bottom-up sales funnel.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was leading to. I think you should eventually get to the B2B kind of stuff. Yeah, thank you.
I agree. I was thinking, I had a similar question. I was thinking, is this something that would fall under employee insurance eventually? Like, you know, the insurance is covering the training, or would it just be B2C? Like, how are you going to scale this?
Yeah, so great question. So right now, our primary focus, once again, is B2C, but we want to primarily stay into the training aspect, because that's just our positioning, not really doing with, you know, right there in the field. Now, we could also, and we are planning on going to agencies, but once again, it'd be the training process for those agencies, not directly while they're on the field. Because if they're on the field, we don't really want them to like have to pull up this information that we want them to really know on the spot. Does that answer your question?
And then how are you going to scale your team?
See our team?
Your team, yes. Like who would be your next 3 hires or your next 2 hires?
Okay. So basically in terms of team, we're probably going to first start scaling into the marketing aspect. So right now we have 6 active creators, but we're trying to scale that into a content creator army. That's where our projections come from. And so what we need is somebody else to help manage those creators. Now I already found somebody, he's doing a great job, but when we go from 6 to 40, 50 creators, then we need somebody else for that. So we're primarily on the marketing side. And then in terms of development side, our developers are amazing. I love my developers. And so with the power of AI, they move extremely fast. So it's not entirely something we're looking for right there at this moment. But as we expand to paramedics and nursing, we do need somebody to head the nursing department as well.
I'm curious a little about quality control. It's a very serious business. Like, how do you make sure that the training that you have, like what's in place there to make sure that, to reduce the liability?
Yeah, great question. So, of course, we have our paramedic instructor. He goes through all of our scenarios and makes sure that they're accurate. Of course, with my expertise, I'm also going through these scenarios myself. And we're also always keeping up to date with latest trends in like the latest documentation, new studies. And so we also have a pipeline that feeds us that report every single morning to make sure that everything that we produce is accurate.
All right, Ivan, thank you so much, judges. We appreciate you very much. Thank you. That concludes our undergraduate track, and it's now time to get into our graduate track. Leading off, Ismail Qasimi of NanoPause Therapeutics, who will present our first graduate pitch of the night. You'll wait just one second. I think our judges want some time just to write down a couple of details before we get started here. Give them about 30 seconds or so, and then we'll get going. Again, for those of you that are new, this is a big year for UT Dallas because our first place winner gets $50,000. Our second place winner gets $30,000, and third place gets $20,000. Absolute huge bankroll for this tonight. So we thank everybody for chipping in and for making this as big as it's become. Judges, are you ready? Everybody good? All right, thank you.
Cancer remains as one of the main causes of death for pets and other animals for a long time. And the reason for that one is the problem that we have for cancer detection and cancer treatment. For example, the existing methods like chemotherapy and surgery, they are expensive and invasive. Moreover, they are stressful for both pets and owners. And also, they are not act specifically on the cancer cells. Because of that, they are showing lots of side effects. And also, they are not accessible and adaptable for different species. To solve these problems, we are offering NanoPause therapeutic kits. In this kit, we have 2 products, product A and B. Inside product A, we have magnetic nanoparticle and anti-cancer drug. After injecting of our product into the body, it will go to the cancer cells and it will release drug there. And then, by using of our second product, which it is a magnetic field generator, we are able to generate heat inside the cancer cells through magnetic nanoparticle. Also, these magnetic nanoparticles gives us MRI visibility. However, with this combination, we are offering cancer detection and cancer treatment together. Here you can see cell viability against different temperature. As you can see, at 37 degrees Celsius, which it is our body temperature, still 45% of the cancer cells are alive. While by increasing the temperature to 45 degrees of Celsius, almost all of the cancer cells dead. On the top picture, you can see that how effectively we are able to shrink the size of the tumor. And in the bottom pictures, you can see that how effectively we are able to see and live monitor the cancer treatment before and after treatment. Veterinary oncology market is expected to grow rapidly and reach to 3.1 billion by 2030. And the reason for that one is the increasing number of pet ownerships. SAM and TAM for this market in 2026 would be 0.95, 1.1, and $2 billion. Our primary customer would be veterinary oncologists, zoos, wildlife conservation, government, and so on. Our key competitors, they are mainly focused on dogs and canine cancer, while we are offering treatment for wide variety kind of cancer and different species. In order to reach the market, we will have 1-year pilot test in 3 animal hospitals like VCA Dallas Animal Hospital. And for this, and in order to actually talk with the people or result, in order to approach to the people, we will participate in the seminars and as a speaker, and also we will publish paper. Our revenue model would be subscription-based model, and our gross margin for product A would be 97%, and for product B would be 50%. Here you can see our progress and our future plan. We already done with phase 1, and right now we are in phase 2, which is animal study. Our next step would be making our AFM generator or magnetic field generator. For making our AFM generator, we need $25,000 and also another $25,000 for patent and $200,000 for pilot testing for making 3 AFM generator and sponsoring that 1-year pilot testing. Me and my brother Hussein, we are founders, and Dr. Stefan and Dr. Akur, they are our advisor from UTD, and Dr. Sirakan from South Florida University is our another advisor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, judges. 5 minutes.
Would you address your patent plans? Is that just for the United States? You want to branch out to other countries? Because costs increase exponentially depending on where you obtain your patent.
Yeah, we would like to have patent here.
Are there just for the United States?
Right now for United States, it is like, yeah, right now for United States, and then we can expand it, yeah.
Is there an opportunity for more than one patent with your technology?
Yes, because we have magnetic nanoparticle, the combination, and also we have for the AFM generator. So because of that, we will have different, patents.
Again, a very touching problem to solve, but definitely looking at this market itself, do you have a channel that identified that will make you very successful selling this product? Is it just through veterinary hospitals and things like that?
We already in contact with VCA, animal hospital, Dallas Animal Hospital, and we can see a big market there, and nobody's working in this area. So we are the first one working in the animal, in this area, on the animals.
So what stage are you in the product delivery? Just filing patents and you're pretty early stage, I would imagine.
As I told you, we already synthesized our first product, which is our combination of magnetic nanoparticle and drug. And right now, we need to make our portable AFM generator. We have lots of AFM generator or magnetic field generator, but for us, it would be adaptable for different species and portable for different species. In order that we be able to use it in anywhere, like zoos or maybe wildlife conservation or anywhere. So for that one, we need to make that one. So we already we are in half of the way.
So I'm understanding it costs $200,000 to make.
Yeah. No. 25,000.
25.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is the sales process? Like, how do you, like normally in medical sales, there's lots of sales reps. So how do you plan on marketing it and selling it?
I didn't
Getting the information across to the, this is B2B, correct?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and how will you get the information out to the veterinary clinics or the consumer that's going to buy it?
It would be like, we are selling, our product, at least for first product, like, for the A, that's what, for the product A, we will sell it like $200, something like that. And, they can sell it like maybe anywhere, anything like, 500, something like that. And for the second product, we will sell to them like, with $25,000, $50,000, and they are just charging people, based on the treatment, based on treatments.
Great pitch, thank you. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but something like this would definitely take the FDA regulation path, correct? So what would that look like? Would it be like 2 to 5 years, and then, would the AMF also need some sort of regulation? Because it can be dangerous. And so walk me through that path, please.
Since we're working with animals, it would be for us so easy to go to the market. Right now we are not working on the human. So because it would be easy, maybe just 1 year, 2 years, something like that, we can get, go to the market and get or, FDA approvedness. Yeah.
Then why did you decide to go after this problem? Is there a story behind it?
Actually, in the past, I didn't actually thinking that to having any kind of pets. But right now, I'm thinking I need to have one thing. I don't know why, but right now, I'm loving pets. Because of that, I thought, let's work on them. Yeah.
All right, we've got time for one more question.
And so I know you had a slide on the generator. What would something like that cost to make, and then what are the economics of that?
It is $25,000 for making that one.
One unit?
Yeah, it depends on in which scale we should wait. We should make it. We need to make it in 3 different scales, at least, for small animals, for big animals, or maybe something like universal. But usually the average would be like around $25,000.
So for mice, the cost would be $25,000.
The cost of making that AFM generator, $25,000. One of them, yeah.
Okay, and then how are you thinking of pricing it?
We will sell it like around $50,000. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Ismail, thank you so much. Judges, thank you very much. All right, with our second graduate pitch, let's welcome to the stage Sindura Anamolu with Helio Ops.
My mother had cancer. She was in pain, she was exhausted. Every hospital visit, we waited, sometimes for hours, for a bed that we later found was already available. She passed away in 2022. I couldn't help what happened to her, but I can make sure other families don't go through the same wait. I'm Sindura, and that's why I built Helio Ops. Patients wait for at least 4 hours, and yet hospitals run at 75% occupancy.
Nurses spend at least 2 hours, that's 25% of their shift, not on patient care, but on calls and coordination. The beds exist, the data exists, but it sits on different systems with different departments and different people. No one linked it to show the real-time data. Helio Ops, it's a one app, one tap bed available solution. We connect the hospital existing systems to an AI prediction engine, and every nurse sees the same live bed board. No calls, no guessing, single source of truth. And AI matches the best available bed instantly. Alerts are fired automatically. The right person gets the right alert at the right time. By the end of the shift, bed turnover is faster, waiting times are lower, and revenue is unlocked. We are saving time, we are saving money, and we are saving lives. We are charging $35,000 for an integration fee one time as a SaaS subscription, and $15,000 as an optional analytics module. The hospital recovers its investment of $100 in under 7 weeks. Now multiplying that across the US market, which is 6,093 hospitals, it's 1.9 billion TAM. And we are looking at 42 hospitals in next 5 years. With children's health, method. We had our first conversation with million with hospital contracts, 18 months of practice. We're looking at 42 hospitals. As competitors are linked up to the we are built for life on the floor, not for an analyst who is behind the desk. I'm Sindura. I'm a student, I'm a researcher, and I'm a founder. A healthcare case study sparked the question. A research paper proved it. And my conversations with multiple hospitals gave me the confidence. My advisor, Professor Mandar Samant, he comes with 25 years of experience, not just in academia, but also in customer engagement and program management. My other advisor, Shenika Rains, she is in industry for 17 years, and she is a serial entrepreneur with Innovator of the Year award recipient. She opened the doors for us. Most of the hospital conversations that we are in today are because of her. We have the research, we have the network, and we have the mission. And we are unlocking 75 to 82% occupancy increase. That gives 21 additional beds for a mid-sized hospital and 19 million in recoverable revenue. And we are charging $179,000 to deliver that. We built something which every mid-sized hospital can use with 15 minutes of training and beds that gets filled faster. Simple and affordable. The bed was available the whole time, and Helio Ops makes sure everyone knows it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sindura. Judges, 5 minutes.
Yeah, great idea. Anybody that's waited in the hospital, right? I'm curious, what are your roadblocks to scaling? 5 years, only 42 hospitals? That seems a bit slow with your low implementation time and everything.
Hospital sales cycles are one of the longest across the industry. They take around 12 to 18 months to onboard a vendor, and that's one reason why we are scaling in less numbers. My advisor Shenika Renz, she has 17 years of experience working as a vendor with multiple hospitals, and she feels that this is very ambitious.
So when you sell this to the hospital, who are the people who make the decision for you in this?
For us, CNOs and the COOs are the decision makers. They would be signing the checks for us and giving the money. We will also be talking to IT integrations because they have to let us to connect to their existing systems. And we will also go through a vendor vetting process to make sure that we are following the correct pattern and we are compliant to their systems.
So when you go there to integrate your software to their system, do they allow you to kind of connect directly, or how many people do you need to have?
There are middleware companies like Redox and Redopsy in market who does most of the integrations for the hospitals, because everyone going and touching their systems might mess it up. So they usually go with a partner who is a HIPAA compliant and who has experience in this area. So we are going through the middleware companies, both
so they are
Redox
your
and
channel
Redopsy.
to
Yes.
market. So thank you.
I think a much needed solution. I love your business model. And so my initial question was, how would the platform know that a bed is available? Would a human in the loop have to, do a whole checkout process, or what would or is there a software that goes into the camera, or what is the process for that?
For now, hospitals has multiple ADT systems, which are admission discharge tracking systems. They also have Epic. And nurses have to go into the Epic and fill in the data there. But what we are trying to do is, we are trying to give them a mobile app where they can fill that data quickly. Like just one tap and nurse says that the bed is ready. A nurse says that the cleaning is done. Or not just the next person, like labs or someone else. And the right person gets the right notification at that right time. And so that's why we are making it faster. And after that, we run into our AI prediction engine also, so that we are able to predict discharges even before the admission has happened. We're also predicting length of stays to make sure that the bed capacity and utilization is well streamlined.
Would you classify this system as simply a faster over current technology? Or is that too much of a generalization?
I would say it's a mixture of what a hospital already has and utilizing that systems, and also adding the newest technology that we have in market to that, to make sure that the results are much better and the capacity is utilized in a better way.
I'm assuming that your profit, $179,000 for a 2-year sales cycle isn't a lot of profit, right? You spend a lot of time and energy. I'm assuming that's the $40 per bed ongoing, reoccurring revenue. But how do you defend against the systems that are already in the hospitals not coming up with their own process of this once you're out on the market?
Epic is already there in the market. It's a gold standard in healthcare. Epic has 53% market share. They manage the bed management solutions now, but they're for managing the data and storing the data. They're not giving the real-time data. So when we spoke to a hospital in DFW area, they were telling that a nurse has to go and enter it in the system, and that causes delays. Even though they have so much tech around them, everything boils down to that one data entry. And we are trying to open that bottleneck and make sure that everything goes in. So that's how we are going to solve the problem.
Well, we've got time for one more question if we've got one. All right, judges, I think we're good. Hey, thank you so much. We've got one final graduate presentation, and then we're going to be getting into our alumni track. We'll have 3 pitches from our alumni track. And for those who are not quite familiar with the process here, after we have our alumni track, the judges will then go into deliberations, and we'll hear from our keynote speaker tonight, Dr. Sulman Ahmed. Dr. Ahmed will speak, and then we will present the winners, and we'll talk more about that as we continue. But our third and final graduate presentation is ready, and let's welcome Andres Aguirre with RadMap Robotics.
Right now at UCOR, the contractor running the $8.3 billion nuclear cleanup at Oak Ridge needs to radiation map 125 buildings before decommissioning them. Manual surveys are the bottleneck. We built RadMap Robotics to eliminate that bottleneck entirely. Manual surveys are slow, dangerous, and incomplete. Radiation workers spend weeks inside hot zones while they create data sets that are incomplete. Without 3D visualization, you have incomplete threat assessment. The NRC and DOE require full radiological characterization before any decommissioning work can begin. At Oak Ridge, this mandate covers 125 buildings. Nuclear facilities are stuck with a 1990 solution to a problem that demands better. At RadMap Robotics, we deploy autonomous drones and ground robots for zero human exposure. Our DHS-funded detectors can detect both gammas and thermal neutrons. So Oak Ridge doesn't just get radiation here, they get complete intelligence. What isotopes, where, and at what concentrations. Full autonomy, full coverage, zero risk. 3 breakthroughs make this possible. First, indoor navigation without GPS. Our platforms make their own maps just like self-driving cars do. Second, real-time 3D field reconstruction. We calculate the entire 3D field from sparse measurements, like a CT scan stitching together images. Third, real-time visualization. Facility managers can see hot zones while the survey is running. Platforms that work, detectors that can detect radiation, and a software that brings it all together. The Army spends $69.7 million in chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear defense. The nuclear decommissioning market is $7.5 billion, growing to $11 billion by 2034. We sell radiation intelligence as a service. Facilities pay $100 to $300K per site per year for quarterly surveys, emergency response, and compliance reporting. No equipment sales, just recurring revenue from customers mandated to solve this solution by regulation. We start with Oak Ridge. For phase 1, the UCOR pilot, we target 1 to 2 facilities showing cost savings versus manual surveys. That's our DOE validation. For phase 2, we scale to 20 to 30 DoD sites and cleanup installations. For phase 3, we target the international market. Our execution rests on 3 pillars. First, on-site service delivery. Second, RadVis software platform. And third, strategic partnerships with national laboratories and prime contractors already at these facilities. Manual survey-only companies expose workers to hot zones for weeks. Slow, dangerous, and incomplete. Drone-only systems don't have isotope identification and are aerial only. Outdoor-only systems can't go indoors without GPS, so they can't navigate. And academic research robotics isn't really commercially ready. RadMap Robotics is the only integrated solution. Indoor, outdoor, real-time 3D radiation reconstruction, and a service model with no capital barrier. Meet the team that makes this possible. I'm Andres. I lead autonomous systems and RadVis development. Dr. Quevedo is our CEO and co-founder. He leads strategic vision and business development. Dr. Rodolfo Rodriguez built our DHS-funded radiation detectors. That's our technical moat. And Dr. Lilo Fernandez leads customer discovery and regulatory compliance. Our radiation detectors were funded and field tested by DHS. That's federal validation. Our robotic platforms are under active development. We are engaged with Oak Ridge for pilot deployment, and we have project support through UTD and private investors. With $30K, we accelerate Oak Ridge deployment. $30K would be for enhanced drone platform integration, $10K for customer discovery, and $10K for Oak Ridge pilot prep and regulatory compliance. 6 months from funding to Oak Ridge completion and DOE validation, the credential that unlocks the National Laboratory Network. This is RadMap Robotics. Thank you. See radiation, don't just detect it.
Thank you so much, Andres. 5 minutes for the judges.
Excellent presentation. So, what stage is this product in right now? If you look at this picture here,
sure.
Which ones are already done?
Great question. So our detectors We have developed them with the help of DHS funding, and they're also field tested by DHS. So they work, they are already validated. Our robotic platforms are in active development. What that means is we're working on the indoor autonomous navigation. So we have the hardware for our ground robots as well as our drones. Right now we're just working on having them navigate autonomously indoors. The next step after that is integrating the detectors and the autonomous platforms. As far as 3D reconstruction, we have built all those algorithms and validated them with synthetic data. We're waiting for the autonomous systems to be up to speed so that we can actually generate real data to validate the radiation reconstruction as well.
So the visualization of the data, where is that being done? Will it be in a separate system or?
So it's going to be the same system. We take information from both our detector and the autonomous systems to blend the data together and create a 3D radiation map. This has been tested with synthetic data so far because we're under active development of our robotic platforms. Once those are up and running, we can actually generate data to validate it with a real data set.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When you're performing a typical radiation mapping, could you give me a time comparison as well as a staffing comparison?
Sure. So for staffing, we would only need one worker, one engineer that knows how to use the robotic platforms as well as the software, the RadMap software. As far as the timeline goes, all we would need is to, for example, deploy the autonomous drone in one of these buildings. It depends on how big the building is or how big the room we want to scan is. And autonomously, it would cover the whole thing. The reason why we want to do a drone is because we want a 3D map of the entire building. So far with manual surveys, radiation workers have to carry around a heavy, expensive detector and go point by point logging measurements by hand. That doesn't really offer a 3D visualization. With these autonomous systems, you would just plug and play, let the ground robot or the drone near the door that, of the room that you want to scan, and then just let it go. So as far as the time saving, it would be considerable compared to what a person would have to do going room by room. Besides, we don't really care if these platforms get exposed, not like a human. That would be, we don't really have to take all those extra steps. So that's where the time saving comes from.
I love the innovation. I'm curious, and I probably missed this, but what's the market opportunity here?
Yes. So right now the radiation detection market is $3.2 billion globally. The nuclear decommissioning market is $7.5 billion and growing to $11 billion by 2032. So UCOR, the contractor that was hired to decontaminate Oak Ridge, was giving $8.3 billion. So the market opportunity is there. The way we would operate is through service contracts. So we would ask companies, for example, for 100 to 300K per site per year. What we would need to spend money on is basically just the hardware and an engineer that would run these surveys. So our overhead is pretty low in that case. So there's a huge market opportunity for radiation mapping and autonomous radiation mapping. Yes. So much.
Hi.
Hi.
So, great pitch.
Thank you.
My initial question or concern was around how would you, acquire those contracts or pilots from Department of Energy or even, DOD or working with anyone at, NASA or, SpaceX for that matter. But I mean, the potential, the market is huge. I remember seeing your team and I didn't see any advisor who would, be your inside man, but maybe I'm wrong. Like, how are you going to acquire those customers or get those pilots?
Sure, great question. So one of our team members actually just focuses on customer discovery as well as regulatory compliance. So we would use part of the funds for interviews with these sites. Right now we're actually under discussions with Oak Ridge. They came to us with a problem that they had a room that they couldn't have anyone inside to actually perform the radiation survey, and that's where this idea kind of came about. So our Phase 1 would be that GoICure pilot where we show cost savings. After that, it would be a matter of scaling to other DOE sites and DoD installations. But this first pilot is basically our anchor into the whole national laboratory network.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time, Andres. Judges, thank you very much. All right. That was our final graduate presentation. We have 3 more to go. We're getting to our final track here. We have 3 alumni presentations coming up. And as you guys can tell, behind every one of these pitches, a lot of work, a lot of presentation, a lot of preparation, just practicing, getting up on stage to make this delivery. They've done such a great job tonight. So much has been generated in terms of the money to make this one of the top pitch presentations now in the country. And so it is time to get going with our alumni track. And kicking us off, Sine Corsundi with MusicQ Bio.
Before I begin, I just want to thank the Innovation Office for all their hard work over the past few weeks setting this event together, and of course the judges for taking time out to be here tonight. I'm Sina. I'm the Chief Scientific Officer at MusicQ Bio, and along with my co-founder Manny, together we've spun this company out of our PhD projects focused on non-invasive drug delivery into the brain. Together, we're developing treatments for rare brain diseases like Huntington's disease, which are still a death sentence for patients worldwide, even though we know what the cause of the disease is. And that's because our own biology actively prevents life-saving treatments from actually getting into the right parts of your brain. You see, the blood vessels in your brain have this barrier that blocks drugs from actually crossing over into the brain. And so this leaves patients with essentially 0 treatment options. And after talking with patients and advocates at the Huntington's Disease Society of America, we learned that the situation is actually so dire that patients are told to just manage their symptoms, plan their wills, and donate their brains when they pass. And even though there are emerging treatments that actually slow progression of the disease, those same patients we spoke to express hesitation because these treatments require a highly invasive 18-hour neurosurgery procedure where they stick a needle so deep into your brain just to actually inject the drugs. And so then what is needed is a treatment that is site-specific, like surgery, but non-invasive so that patients will actually want to sign up for it. And so that's where we come in. We've developed a bubble, an actual bubble called MusicQ, that delivers drugs in 3 easy steps through a published and patented 2-factor authentication mechanism. First, we load MusicQ with life-saving therapies like gene therapies and inject it into the bloodstream. Next, MusicQ will actually bind to the blood vessels of your brain, which it is designed to do. And finally, we apply ultrasound, which triggers MusicQ to actually open the blood-brain barrier and release its drug payload. Because we choose where to apply the ultrasound, we have precise control over where in the brain the drugs are delivered. Other non-invasive treatments like brain-shuttling molecules do get into the brain, like the name suggests, but they also go everywhere throughout the body, which causes significant side effects. MusicQ solves this by providing site-specific delivery only at the diseased brain region. We validated this approach across multiple applications where we've demonstrated that MusicQ can deliver gene therapies to knock down mutant genes and that it can actually bind to the blood vessels in the brain. So by combination of the disease without the need for surgery or widespread off-target effects. If successful, this will be the first clinically approved treatment for Huntington's disease, which would allow us to capture a $9 billion market as calculated from a model after other drugs in other rare brain diseases. And because Huntington's is a rare brain disease, we can apply for accelerated FDA approval pathways, which will significantly reduce our time to market. But because we are a versatile brain delivery platform, we can actually expand to other brain indications through partnerships with pharma companies by delivering their drugs. This will provide an early revenue stream prior to clinical approval, while also validating our platform across multiple use cases and drive the company towards a M&A exit driven by clinical data and our partnerships. I've already mentioned that we've published and patented the technology, but we've also licensed it from UT Southwestern, and we've recently received over $100,000 in both dilutive and non-dilutive capital in the form of grant writing support, pitch competition awards, venture investment, and early stage grants that allow us to conduct some preliminary experiments. We're now raising $2 million to advance this program to the clinic, which will cover product development studies such as efficacy studies, manufacturing, regulatory and legal activities, general and administrative tasks like lab establishment, and a little bit of buffer just in case. We've developed these milestones through discussions with potential pharma partners and later stage investors, and will get us towards clinical trials. In terms of the orchestra behind the music, my co-founder and I have over 15 years of research experience in this field. It's Manny, my co-founder Manny, who's actually pitching at another event right now in San Antonio, also has several years of operations experience as EVP of Nucleate. We're backed by an amazing advisory board comprising all the right instruments in business, clinical, regulatory expertise, and we're backed by amazing foundations and organizations that will help us reach our milestones. And together, we're MusicQ Bio, so come join us as we use sound science to break barriers. Thank you.
So very nice problem-solving technique you have here. So question, and this is targeted drug delivery, is
Yes.
basically what you're doing here.
Correct.
So if you're focused on Huntington's, but can this be a general brain tumor problem, for example?
Yes, so actually a lot of our early validation studies were done in cancer models. So we validated in breast cancer, melanoma, pancreatic cancer we're doing right now. But brain diseases are something that our platform can uniquely solve because other delivery platforms can't cross the blood-brain barrier.
So normal ultrasound can kind of say whether it's working or not, right? You're saying once this drug is delivered to that area, then you can compare it with ultrasound pictures.
Exactly, yes.
Right? Okay. So question is, these bubbles that you're talking about, how are they available to you? The market is acoustic bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something that you need to procure from somewhere?
No, so we make the bubbles in-house.
Okay. All right, thank you.
It's our own patented formulation.
Yeah, great idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love the idea. I was just wondering where'd the passion come from this of Huntington's disease? I've
Yeah.
never heard of that. And also the name, music. I thought it was going to be a music platform.
Yeah, so my professor is French, so we put a little bit French spin onto it. And we're working with ultrasound, so we have to make it a little bit, tongue in cheek. I got interested in drug delivery actually during my undergrad when CRISPR was becoming popular, gene editing. And I saw the potential for CRISPR to essentially treat, almost any disease. But the issue was getting the CRISPR enzyme to the right places in the body, which requires, a drug delivery platform. And so that got me into that field. And then I heard about bubbles, which was, kind of a niche field at the time. It's grown a lot now recently. But I wanted to apply my background in chemistry, in modifications and formulations, and develop a new bubble system to actually, use bubbles for drug delivery.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you.
You said that it's $2 million to get to clinical trials?
It's $2 million to get us closer to clinical trials. So
Closer to clinical.
Yes, so it'll set us up with a meeting with the FDA, and then we'll provide the FDA with our plans for clinical trials, and then they can give us the go-ahead.
Can you give a cost estimate from clinical to FDA approval and any other regulatory agencies to market deployment?
So because we're a rare brain disease, it's a lot cheaper than other sort of indications. So we estimate about $50 million from phase 1 to phase 2, and that should be enough to actually get approval from the FDA in this indication, if we have good phase 2 efficacy data.
And what is that timeline?
It would be about 2 to 5 years.
Thank you.
Normally it would be 7 to 10, but because again of those accelerated pathways, we benefit from a faster timeline.
Hi. So a friend from Capital Factory actually told me about your startup and said, you guys should talk. And I was like, okay.
Was it Drew?
It was. So great, great partners to have
Thank
at
you.
Capital Factory.
Yes.
Tell me about, the gas molecule? Is
Yeah.
it, how does it work? So, the patient is, they're put under, they're not awake.
The patient is awake.
Yes, so walk me through that, and then where are you right now? Like, how much has it worked, or like?
Yeah, so the patient will actually be awake. This is the benefit of this platform because it's non-invasive. We just inject the bubbles into the bloodstream. We'll use, I'm sorry? Just IV, just into like an IV drip. And then we'll use MRI to determine which coordinates you want to pulse at. And then we'll use an MRI-guided ultrasound scanner that's available in over 200 hospitals worldwide and has been validated for this type of procedure. To then, burst the bubbles, depending on what size of the brain region you want to pulse. It could take from, 5 minutes to 30 minutes. And then we'll leave the patient a couple of minutes to recover or to monitor for any adverse effects. And then we'll send them on home. So maybe about an hour total. And then your second question was, I forgot as well.
This is actually pretty fascinating stuff, but so you inject the bubble, and how do you get it to go to the place you want it to go to?
Yeah, so the bubble will just naturally circulate through the bloodstream, but we've modified the surface to actually bind to the certain receptors that are expressed on the blood vessels of the brain. And so they'll kind of home themselves to that direction.
Oh, it really looks nice.
All right, Sina, thank you so much. Sina Corsetti. All right, it's time for our second pitch in our alumni track. Next, it's Kumada Srinivasa with GoICure and GoIRetreat.
Good to be back. Hello everyone, myself Kumada Srinivas, founder of GoICure. We are standing on 100 billion fragmented medical tourism. 2 years back, I was diagnosed with kidney stones and I was quoted almost enormous 12K. But as a student, my insurance and copay did not cover much. And in India, it is merely 1.5K. But the problem is, the whole process is manual. Everything is fragmented across WhatsApp, messages, emails, and there's no standardized platform. And the poor transparency of prices. The whole thing was, with this enormous pain, there was no one-stop solution for visa, travel, and logistics. Recovery was out of option. And then, just think, 1.5 million US people travel alone to abroad for treatment. Think about Europe, Canada, UK. The industry is huge, but there's one thing lacking. That's the digital platform and digital infrastructure. That's where GoICure comes. We are the end-to-end SaaS platform, which is unified, secured, compliant, and AI-driven. We provide patients from AI hospital matching, from virtual consultation to on-ground local coordinators, and we take care of them from travel, visa, till the end. We don't stop there. Recovery, we transition the patient from treatment into rehabilitation and wellness programs. On the B2B side, we provide our partners with enormous services and add-ons, from integrated dashboards, CRM analytics, AutoScribe, and an enormous network. With a market opportunity, we have a global market opportunity of 1.1 trillion, and we target to reach 60 million by the 6th year. We have 5 stream models, and we are a big, huge B2B model. We start with commission from hospitals, partner dashboards, and we have SaaS platforms, and we have a VIP coverage packages and lead generation and marketing tools. We have premium service add-ons for the patients who are going abroad. We are at the early transaction of 32 MRR, with 12K and 20K coming from wellness and hospitals. We have almost 70 plus hospitals
in partnership and also 150 plus retreat partners. Our main focus is stem cell therapy, dental, and the wellness packages. We have high volume coming from UK, US, going into India, Turkey. And we care about our patients first. Let's say a patient who is high risk of travel, we have integrated with the insurance aligned local care and also with the NHS private care, which is 1/4 of cost of a normal private care. And we have 150 plus advisors, doctors on board to care for the patients in US, UK. Myself, I have 6 years of experience working with hospital protocols and compliance. And this thing would not be done without my co-partner, Shiva Ramachandran. And he has a 15 years experience with the health partnership and regulatory compliance. We have 3 doctors from US and UK who are actually heading the whole advisory board. And we have 150 plus advisory doctors on board. Patients, we have a high satisfactory patients and a high NPS score. Our partners are very satisfied with us and they have given us 4.5 rating. Our mission is to reach 250K ARR this year and reach 40 million ARR by 2029. One thing is, GoICure makes the world your hospital and recovery your priority. Thank you.
Thank you, Kamuda. 5 minutes, judges.
Hi, how are you? So I just need to understand, first of all, I feel like there's a lot going on, but you also have revenue. So if you could just walk me through step by step, what are the existing services that you're providing to the hospitals through your platform?
So we do provide AI script, like a patient comes to a hospital, we have like the virtual consultation with the live translation, and we have preparation of AI script. When the patient is in a consultation with the doctor, we have AI script so that we document each and every step, and we have a document generator AI, which documents like if you want to have a travel or visas or anything, it tracks down the whole thing, and we have a dashboard which is like lead generation, like many hospitals don't know like reaching out to patients. So we have a marketing tools which reach out to patient and like they can have like in services, and also we have one particular thing is like the whole compliance, like the the travel services and also the hospital, like when is the surgery, when is the patient's schedule. So whole thing can be tracked using our dashboard.
So first step is the patient walks in, and that's when the whole virtual interview and their medical records are uploaded, and that prepares the doctor.
Yes, basically, like we reach out, like first of all, we sit down with the patient, understand all the whole thing. We have something called AI triage system. We have like a patient just can go in, upload the documents, which is a HIPAA and GDPR compliant whole system. It gives you like, this is the best treatment. The patient can choose it. We have on-ground local coordinators. They help out to reach out to the doctors. We have like virtual consultation, dashboard, like the whole process.
So the whole end-to-end relationship with your doctor is taken through your platform. It goes online. Okay, amazing. And so because you said medical tourism, so I was like, okay, this is like a patient and doctor match. This is like Uber, but not, So it's like it can be kind of deceiving. Like I was like, whoa, what's happening? I mean, I can upload my details and it'll find me the best doctor in the entire world that is suited to me, or But okay, all right, this makes more sense. Okay, I'll ask.
What's your pricing model?
So we don't charge the patient at all. We charge commissions from the hospitals, basically 15 to 20%, and from the retreat, like once the treatment is done, you go for rehabilitation and wellness programs. We have 10 to 15% we charge from them. So we.
So how do you get the predictable revenue if that's the case?
For example, I have like a patient who like two weeks back who went for a stem cell therapy. So the hospital charge was like $6,000. So we do like 20% charge from the hospital when the treatment is done. So when they go through our platform, basically paying the fees to the hospital. So we have 20% which are coming from the hospital partnership.
Okay. So that curve that you showed, you're going to 40 million ARR based
Yes.
on some factor. That's not obvious.
So basically, we have like, if you really see the wellness, like it's a huge market. So if you are taking about a wellness package, it starts from like 6K already. Like let's say you have a heart surgery or something, and you want to have a rehabilitation and something starting with that. With the 6K, we have like, if you're charging like 20 to 30% of that, you already have like 1.5K. So yeah.
So it seems like you have to sell two places. You have to sell the doctor, the hospital, or the center, but then you also have to get to the consumer. So how does that work?
So we are basically B2B. So we have SaaS platform fees for them to use all the features. And we have partnered with, like, we give you the patients, whatever the whole commission, we charge like 15 to 20%. So the LTV CAG is pretty much less when we are like talking to, like, we are integrated with health centers locally. And also we are talking to patients who are old and like, who want to have a surgery or something. So the only expense would be the marketing, yes, to reach out to patients and talk to them.
Right, and how do you plan on, getting to the patients to make them aware of this? What's your marketing plan?
Yeah. I did not hear.
So what is your marketing plan? Like how do you...
So we have integrated with like local health centers right now, and we are also reaching out to through our communities. Like, if you have an Indian community, we have like a lot of people who are like going for abroad, and also we are like talking to through SEOs and like Facebook, and there's a lot of people. We get almost 4K already 2 months. We get inquiries based for like dental, stem cell therapy mostly. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. That's Kamuda Srinivasa with GoICure and GoIRetrieve. Thank you very much. All right, we've got one final pitch tonight, one final presenter, and it comes from Diana Carnero with Will Call.
This is my brother, Will. We ran the Boston Marathon together. He got COVID, had a stroke, and now he's quadriplegic and lives in a nursing home. I'm his caregiver. 2 years ago, Will fell out of his bed, busted his head, screaming for help, and nobody came. Will can't use this, a nurse call cable. He can't use it. We invented Will Call, named after him. It's a replacement for the nurse call cable. It's voice activated. Diana's going to tell you more about who we help and how we help them.
Yes, we did build the simplest way to call for help because every existing solution requires physical touch. You either push a button, blow into a pipe, bump your head onto a pad, and hope it works. Millions of patients depend on this system every single day. And yet, they are not designed for someone with contractured hands, somebody with dementia who just can't figure out a button, or sometimes the button is just out of reach. And when access fails, the entire healthcare system fails. Let's understand how a nurse call button works. It is connected to a panel next to the patient's bed. When the patient pushes the button, it sends an electrical signal which activates the central nurse station. This is our product Will Call. Will Call has the same jack as the nurse call button. It fits into the same wall panel, and when the patients use the words, "I need help," it activates the same system. Will Call is a patent-pending, voice-activated technology that works completely offline. Why? Because facility network is unreliable. It is always listening for the words, "I need help," and our model is constantly filtering out background noise like television and conversations. Existing solutions today fall in two major categories: physical devices that require touch and consumer smart speakers that fail when the internet is down. Will Call wins in every situation. These are the most widely used nurse call systems in the entire country, and WillCall plugs into each one of them without any infrastructure change. For our go-to-market, we start with 1.5 million beds in skilled nursing facilities, then expand to 1.3 million beds in adjacent markets, finally 1 million beds in hospitals. For 2026, we are targeting high-need patients in skilled nursing facilities that translates to about $240,000 in revenue. Our business model is simple. We first launched WillCall on our website. We sell for $195.5 with a healthy margin of 70%. To date, we have about 50 units deployed across the country, with paying customers and devices that are being used every single day with real care patients. But that's not how we scale. We scale through existing healthcare distribution networks. We already have signed contracts with 2 legacy nurse call vendors that will be distributing our product to thousands of facilities. And as of next quarter, they will start rolling out WillCall. WillCall has made quite the splash in the media. We have a 4-minute CBS News coverage. We are covered by the UT Dallas newsletter. We are covered in local newspapers and healthcare trade shows. But about all of this, this is what matters the most. Meet Joyce. Joyce lives in a nursing home with multiple sclerosis. The push pad next to her head was often out of reach. But today, with WillCall, she simply says, "I need help," and gets assistance. This is what access to care looks like, and this is the team building it. Bob, our founder, brings lived experience as a caregiver. He has 3 prior startups with 2 exits. Sid has over 10 years of experience in AI ML systems, and he builds our product. I have over 7 years of experience in marketing, and I lead go-to-market. We are soon launching it for the home care segment for 55 million Americans aging in place. And finally, WillCall is not a product. It is a lifeline for patients. We already have a patent filed on our technology. We have manufacturing set up in Texas. We have distributors that want to take us nationwide and paying customers using it every single day. WillCall is truly the simplest way to call for help. Thank you. We are now open to questions.
Diana, thank you so much. Judges, 5 minutes.
Excellent presentation. Question is, what's the technology behind it? You said you don't need a wireless connection. So what is the technology behind WillCall?
Okay, so basically, it's a wake word detection model running offline all the time in the nursing environment. And we have combined it with a reliable interface that works in the healthcare and the clinical system. So there is no need to change any infrastructure. We basically just remove the nurse call cable and plug this into the same jack, and it works flawlessly in all systems around the country.
So it simulates pressing the button.
Yes, it basically emulates a button press. It closes the circuit.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I love everything about this. Great initiative. Thank you for doing this. And I'm sure you've thought about this already, but what if someone cannot speak in this case? So what is the next solution for that, which you guys have in your pipeline?
I didn't quite hear the question.
What if someone can't speak?
Oh, if they can't speak, yes. We do have some people that can't speak. We've had blind people that use their eye to trigger an iPad which has a recorded message, "I need help," and it triggers it for them. So that actually works very nice. Keep in mind, it's not for everyone. If someone has Alzheimer's and can't remember those key words, "I need help," so it's a tool that supplements a lot of people. And you don't have to be quadriplegic like my brother. It's the basic things. I need my eyes wiped, I need to blow my nose, I need a drink of water. It's the everyday things that this is the necessary tool for them to communicate and be treated like other patients.
can the product have multiple messages other than just help?
Yeah, I need help is the key words,
Right.
okay? There is
But
no...
Can you define beyond help?
So right now, it interfaces with the hospital system, which is more of a Boolean system. So there's only one way to trigger it, that is closing the circuit. So any kind of response we program into it, it will send the same response since the system in the back end doesn't change. If that answers your question. Okay, thank you.
A question, last question for me. How big is the opportunity? I think I missed that. Too.
So we are starting with skilled nursing facilities, about 1.5 million beds, and if we translate that into revenue, it's about $200 a device. So that is our total market size is somewhere around 600 million only for the facilities. But our home market is another 55 million odd patients, and that device is going to be about $200 each as well.
Is this system standard around the world? For example, if you get out of US, is this interface standard in, say, Dubai or somewhere else?
With a slight tweak, I think this will definitely work across and internationally. As of now, we do have a few customers who are using this in Canada, and we do have global expansion plans. However, the main aim right now is to conquer the US market and gradually move on to the international markets.
All the distributors been in business 30, 40 years, ever since Medicare came in place. They have an army of people calling on these 15,000 nursing homes. None of them have an item like this. We've signed up too, and they said, we thought about building something like this 4 years ago, but we never really thought about it. So now, everybody pushes a button. This is the only thing that doesn't push a button. I was a clinical professor at UTD for 6 years. All my students were doctors. They're all aware of this. They've never seen anything like it. It is a novel product.
I'm just curious, great idea. I'm just curious, could you not put some sort of splitter and they could either talk or push a button?
Yeah, so currently we do have customers who can press or use some other system. So there is a provision to use it with a splitter so that they can use will call along with another device.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That
And
pulls
how
off, put in a different microphone, just like that.
Love it. How resistant are people to changing their system or adding something new to their system? Like, where are the barriers to entry?
So since this does not have any infrastructure changes, it is just an accessory that they pull out and they plug another device. This in fact works better for them because facilities by law are required to provide a call light button that works for every patient. And this works for, like we saw in the slides, it works for all the patients. So right now our barrier to entry is just the fact that it's fairly new. Once they test it, like most of our pilot customers, they definitely are open to adoption, facility-wide.
All right, Diana, Sadesh, Bob, thank you guys so very much. And thank you to the judges once again. All right, that concludes our pitch presentations tonight. What an impressive showcase of talent. Just fantastic. The creativity, entrepreneurial spirit from our UT Dallas students, the alumni. Just fantastic. Let's give them another round of applause. All right, it's now my pleasure to welcome to the stage UT Dallas Associate Vice President for Development and Alumni Relations, Chris Botti, who will introduce our keynote speaker tonight.
Thank you so much. And another round of applause for those amazing students and alumni. Well, you all, it's an incredible honor for me to introduce today's speaker, not only because of his incredible accomplishments, but because I'm lucky enough to call this individual a dear friend. Dr. Sulman Ahmed is the founder and CEO of DECA Dental Group, one of the fastest growing dental practices in the country. Under his leadership, DECA has grown into a nationally recognized platform known for its scale, its innovation, and its commitment to patient care. But beyond the titles and the achievements, what makes our friendship special is that we both share roots to UT Dallas, given that we're both alumni from UT Dallas. A few years ago, I had the chance to tour Dr. Ahmed around the UT Dallas campus, and it was so nostalgic for both him and I as we revisited familiar spots on campus, like the McDermott Library. We saw the construction happening all around campus and all the growth, wishing that these buildings and facilities were there when we were students. And we saw the place where Dr. Ahmed used to work, which was the Activity Center. And we reflected on how this place, we call UT Dallas, shaped his journey. And for him, it was really one of those full circle moments, and it really reminds you of the power of the UT Dallas community. And thus, it's incredible to have him here today, and I admire him, and what I admire most about Dr. Ahmed is not only his passion for the dental practices, but his genuine desire and to create opportunities for others and to give back, which is evidenced by his endowed scholarship and support that he does for our UT Dallas students. And he goes the extra mile to stay connected to the UT Dallas. A perfect example is tonight. We're very thankful that he's here with us tonight. And to all the students that are here today, when you listen to his story, remember you're not just hearing from an incredibly successful entrepreneur, but you're hearing from someone who once sat in the seats, the very seats that you sit in, the very classrooms that you sit in every day. So with that being said, please join me in welcoming the founder, CEO, and chairman of DECA Dental Group, the founder and CEO of Tooth Science, the author of Make Them Smile, and UT Dallas Distinguished Alumnus, Dr. Sulman Ahmed. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, it's an honor to be out here. Thank you for having me. It's hard to believe that some 25 years ago, I was a student here like many of you in the audience tonight. And I was wondering at that time, putting myself back in time, what classes I was going to take in the next semester, how I was going to pay for tuition, if all of this is worth it, am I going to find a job, what's the right major, should I change my major? The reality is, as we all kind of sit here today, the world around us seems perfect. And I think through social media and the ability to share everything so much faster, that's even more enhanced. And as we think about entrepreneurship, it's very easy to take a point in time and say, well, you know, this is so-and-so and this is what he's done. But it's really, really hard to give yourself a chance to go back and look at how that person became who they are. And so I'll share my story because it's anything but perfect. And you know, I'd hope that through listening to my journey and my views and how things happen in my life that weren't really supposed to happen, made me the person that I am today. So I'll start off with, you know, I was born in a small country in southern Africa called Rhodesia, which is now Zimbabwe, and I spent my youth growing up there, and I moved to the US at the age of 19. But growing up in a third world country is very different than growing up here, and it's probably true for other third world countries. You know, one of the first things I would say is things that we take for granted. You know, we think about racism. Back at that time, that was something that was just openly accepted. It was never shunned or there was never anything wrong with that. It was just what it was. I still distinctly remember, and I tell my kids this, one of the best, looking back, life lessons, we used to have a little cafeteria called a tuck shop that would open at 10 a.m. for break, and that's where you went and got your food and your lunch. And you know, the bell would ring and everybody would run there. But they only had 2 little doors, and you would have to line up because they were so small. And if you were in the back third on the line, they usually ran out of food. So think about that for a second. When that bell rang, your instinct was not that someone's going to come and take care of me. It doesn't matter. I have the right. Everyone's equal. Even if I'm at the back, I'm going to be fed. It just meant you're not probably going to eat. So that forced you to get creative, to hustle, to decide to go to the bathroom just before the bell rang so you could get to the front of the line. And that was the culture and environment I grew up in. And I share that because that was at the start of my journey But as you get to the top of the food chain, things aren't that different. Like once you get past wanting to get a job and then build something for yourself, things are super, super competitive. And there's this myth or this lie we tell ourselves that life's supposed to be fair. So that was my first lesson, was like, life's not fair. If you want to eat, get in the front of the line, figure it out. Anyways, there's a lot of poverty growing up. There were kids studying under street lights because that was the only electricity they could afford at that time. Went through all of that, and there was not a good higher education system in Zimbabwe. And so most people who could tried to go to university or college outside. This was like a very exciting time for me. I went to an all-boys school, and the thought of coming to the US or even getting in was about as exciting as it gets. This is a mixed audience, but some of the shows you younger ones won't remember, but Knight Rider, MacGyver, these are like, every Friday night we'd wait for those shows. And that's what America was to me. And then Baywatch came around, and I was like, whoa, I really, really need to find a way to go to college in the US. And so it happens. My dad used to work on Saturdays, and there was a US consulate there was just one in Zimbabwe, in Harare, the capital, and he said, I'm going to drop you off, figure out how to go to the US, and I'll pick you up in 3 hours. I said, great. You drop me off. I walked up a narrow set of stairs, maybe half the size of those stairs, and it was one little room, and there was a nice American lady behind the counter, and I said, ma'am, I'm here to apply for colleges to go to the US. She's like, son, you're at the right place. I'm like, okay, what do I do? She turned around and she said, everything you need is in that book, and it was the Barron's Guide to Applying to Colleges, and it was chained, like it had a silver chain, because it was probably the only one in the country. So, to be honest with you, I did not know anything about colleges or SATs or the difference. I probably couldn't even tell you on a map where Dallas was or where New York was. I'd heard of them from the show. I knew that these places existed. And so I went and pretended like I'm looking at it for a few minutes, and I turned to her and I said, well, this is a big book. Like, how am I supposed to figure out where I want to go? And she's like, well, what do you like? And I said, well, where is that show Baywatch filmed? And she said, well, that is with the beaches and everything. And I said, yep, that's the one. And she said, probably Florida. And I said, okay, great. So I went to F and found Florida. And I said, well, there's a lot of colleges in Florida. How many schools should I apply to? And she's like, to be safe, just apply to 2. So I applied to the University of North Florida in Jacksonville, and I applied to the University of Miami. And by the way, son, you need to take a test called the SATs to be considered for application, and they offer that in 3 weeks, and it was at another high school that existed, but it wasn't where I went to school. So there's obviously a lot of issues with this situation. First, I should have known about the SATs. I should have known where I wanted to go and what I wanted to study. And she should have known that Baywatch is in California, not Florida. So anyways, that started the journey. I did not realize, we didn't talk about it, that do I need to prepare for this test, or like, what is it? Or I just said, okay, great. Told my parents. They dropped me off 3 weeks later. I went to sit down. There's only 3 people taking this test with me. The instructor said, just bubble in your answers. And I'd never done multiple choice in my life because we weren't taught multiple choice. We used to write down like little short essays on whatever compounds and whatever was happening. And so bubble that in, did okay, didn't do great. Got into both of those schools, and at this time you would like fax in like a request for an application, and they would mail it to you, so you'd get it like 3 months later, then you'd fill it out, then you'd mail it back in, but somehow the world worked even back then. And I was really excited because by that time we had just got dial-up internet, and I started looking up and I was like, all right, Miami's definitely better than Jacksonville in all the things I cared about at that time. And so I was all set to go to Miami, and on a Sunday morning, that summer before I was supposed to start in the fall, I remember my dad walked in. He's in the audience here today too, and he said, "Son, I've got some bad news." I'm like, "What happened?" He's like, "Well, Miami, someone just got shot in Miami, and it's probably not safe for you to go there." And it was Versace had just gotten shot outside his house. And probably today in Dallas, someone got shot somewhere. But I share that point because news and how we look at that is also relative in context of everything else. But that one decision meant I didn't go to Miami. I ended up in Jacksonville. To get to Jacksonville from Harare, you have to connect in Europe, and you have to connect through Detroit, and then you have to get to Jacksonville. I was still excited, American dream. I'm going to go to the college in the US. The goal was not so much it needs to be Ivy League and I'm going over here and I'm going to study this. I thought I'd already won because I'm going to college in the US. So I'm excited, said goodbye to my family. My mom was crying. I'm starving. I get to Detroit and there is a Burger King. And just for context, we had heard of McDonald's and all these great food places. Those did not exist in Zimbabwe at that time. So this was like, Burger King was a big, big deal. Like I couldn't wait to email my classmates and tell them about all this. And so I come out hungry on this flight. I'm in line, so excited. I get to the front of the line. I greet the lady behind the counter. She doesn't greet me back. She just looks at me and she's like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "Could I please have, a burger and chips?" And she just looks at me. She's like, "We don't have chips here." I'm like, "Yes, you do. Those things right there." And she's like, "Those aren't chips. Those are fries." And she said it with this attitude like I was stupid for not knowing that. And at that moment, first I was embarrassed. Then I felt stupid. But also at that moment, I realized this is a completely different world and I'm going to have to adjust really, really fast. I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't like feeling stupid. And so from that day, I never ever called chips fries again. And I share that story because, and I'll tie all of this at the end, but that was that one small example coming into your country and your first experience when you haven't even left the airport was like, all right, just because I'm excited to be here doesn't mean everyone else is excited that I'm here. And so contain your excitement. And then two, like these little things are different. If I'm going to have to survive here, I'm going to have to speak a little bit of a different language. I'm going to have to adapt. And I don't think there's a time in anyone's life in this room today where there's more change happening than today. I mean, think about AI and what it couldn't do 6 months ago and what it can do last week and how that impacts all of us. So I made it my rule, I'm not going to defy and argue with somebody and say, well, I come from here and we call it chips and these aren't fries and I can prove it to you. It's like, all right, you want to call them fries, I'll call them fries. Just give me what I need, right? And so, long story short, I get to Jacksonville. It was nothing like Baywatch. It was nothing like Miami. And this is Jacksonville back in '97. I also didn't realize that there's no public transportation and I didn't have a car. And so I'm living on campus. I'm rooming with this amazing guy. His name is Dave. And I'm eating, they had the Pizza Hut and a Subway. And it was great. And I ate that. And after 2 or 3 weeks of eating the same thing, I was starting to feel homesick. And I was like, this is not the America I pictured or thought about, And I felt alone. I was like a 18-year-old kid in this big country. Didn't really know anybody. And I went to the bookstore and I got a calling card and you had to scratch it off at the time. It had a pin and all this stuff. And I called my dad from a payphone and I told him, I'm not happy, I want to come back. And he said at that time something that I still remember to this day. He could have yelled at me and he could have said, well, you just wasted all this money and what are you thinking and what about your career? And he was very patient and he said, well, you're out there already. Why don't you make it a mini vacation and hang out for 3 weeks and if you still don't like it, come back. And that changed my whole mindset because I didn't feel trapped. I'm like, well, okay, I'm here. I have the freedom and autonomy to go back if this doesn't work out. And so I kind of loosened up. and I started making friends, and I started getting to understand campus life and the culture. And the truth is, I started liking it. And so when we talked again, and he was like, well, how are you feeling? You ready to come back? I'm like, no, let me give it 3 more weeks, And that kind of grew on me, because we take for granted, even, as people complain all the time, I complain here too, but we are so far, and I want to be careful with my words here, but there's so much opportunity here that we take for granted that in other countries you just dream of, right? So when people complain about like the politics or something they don't like, you still have to remember there's everyone in the world who would want to like trade places and just get to taste or get to experience this life. And so I was experiencing it, and I was loving it. It then so happened I met a girl from Dallas, and I'd come and visit, and this was after my first semester there, and Dallas was a lot nicer than Jacksonville. They had different kinds of food, there was more diversity, you could get around, and so I started looking up where should I transfer to, and I landed on University of Texas at Dallas, and I was like, well, it's central, there's a bunch of great food places around here, it's close to the airport, and that was my journey. I transferred and finished up after my first year, I transferred and finished up at UTD. Till my junior year, I did not know what I wanted to major in. I was biology, but there was all this information systems. These people were coming out and getting jobs at TI and starting at $70,000 a year while they were still studying. I was like, whoa, like that's a lot of money. Like I should do that, even though I was not good at that at all. It took a few electrical engineering classes. I was like, whoa, this is not good. Biology, I kind of liked. And then I started taking some business classes. And I'll tell you, I loved like the faculty at the school at that time, and I'm sure it's gotten even better now. But there was so much diversity. They were so smart in their things, and I felt like UTD was like this little secret. It was like this little commuter school at the time, where at night it would get busy, but there wasn't campus life. So for me to be here and see all this developing, and you guys being here on a Tuesday night at 7:30. This sense of community did not exist back then, and it's just exciting to even just drive by all these new apartments. None of this existed, and so I started gravitating towards becoming, like I want to do something business, but I also want to do something medical, but I also wanted job security, and I'll skip just for the sake of time, but I landed on dentistry because I felt like I could get people out of pain, I could use my hands, I could apply some business, and at the end of the day, I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted autonomy on my schedule, and I ended up getting to school in Boston, was excited, went up there. Again, I was still just embracing like the culture, and that was a very different experience than living in Dallas. Dental school was great. As I was going through school, the first 2 years of dental school were really academic. The third and fourth year, you start treating patients. And the one skill, having to deal with so many cultures and people, from home to being an immigrant in Zimbabwe, to being an immigrant here, to Texas, to the Northeast, to all of this stuff around me, the one skill I picked up really quickly is learning how to relate to people. And when I say relate, it is to understand what inspires them. And as you think about your journey, for me as a leader, it is, do I have the ability to understand what they're going through, and do I have the ability to inspire them to want to follow my vision? That is ultimately what leadership is about. These skills were starting to develop in dental school, so when I got to the third and fourth year, when we're actually treating patients, I loved it because I was talking to people, I was getting my requirements done really, really fast, and I wanted to come back and start a practice. And that's when the next setback happened. This is like 2005 era where you get approved for everything. I was visiting in the summer, and I was in Uptown, and the W Hotel was going up, and I just stopped by, and I was like, wow, this looks nice. And they're like, yeah, we should have a place here. I was like, have dental student loans were like, between college and dental school is like $500,000 in debt. And somehow I got financed for a condo as a third-year dental student. They said, can you just show like what you think he would make. And I was like, okay. And so I was graduating, I had a condo at the W, I had zero money. And I didn't really know how to do dentistry either at that point. So all this was happening really fast. I finished school. I was going to buy a dental practice up on Preston and Frankfurt. And I'd shadow, and during that shadowing process, I overheard the dentist talking to his patients and saying, well, I'll see you at my new office. He had told me he's retiring, and this was, at that time, was $1 million practice that I was trying to finance through Bank of America. And I got approved for that too, by the way. And so this is the world we were living in back in 2005, 2006. The only reason I pulled out of that is I got nervous because I found out he was opening another location close by. So I graduated, I had a condo, but the condo wasn't ready. So I was living with my parents back as this dentist. The practice I was going to buy didn't work out, and so I was looking for a job. And I found a job, and I started working there just to start paying off the loans. And that was the best thing that ever happened to me. And in that moment, I felt like I was going to buy this practice. It was such a great practice, such a great location, and I completely screwed up. Somehow it never worked out. Poor me. Life doesn't work out for me. Why do I deserve this? If that had not happened, I would not be here for sure. But I don't think this company would be around. I don't think we would be providing jobs for 300 dentists and 1,500 people, and have under 200 locations in 10 states. I don't think any of that would have happened because I just wasn't ready, but I didn't know it. I didn't know how to present treatment to patients. I didn't have the clinical skills. I didn't have the business acumen, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I thought I did. So when life throws those things at you, look at that as opportunity. It's usually a sign for you to pause and reevaluate things. We are so programmed to just think, did I win or did I lose? Is this good or is this bad? And I think the truth is, you don't have to put yourself in that situation. You can just decide not to judge what that is and give yourself a chance to just continue on, to persevere. And so, 2 years later, I'd developed as a dentist now. I could present treatment. I can do every dental treatment under the sun pretty competently. I had patients that loved me. They were referring their friends. I was doing cosmetic cases. I was doing root canals. And I loved it. And it was time for me to do something of my own. And so I created, instead of buying something this time, I wanted to create something from scratch that no one could just pull the rug from under me last minute. And I started a concept called Ideal Dental. And what it was we build dental offices from scratch. So we look at where a Whole Foods or a Kroger or communities are growing, and we go find a spot and we build a dental office, and then we hire and train our people our way. Very unusual in our industry. That is not how business is grown. You just buy and roll them up and then you flip them and sell them. But this was the way I wanted to do it because I wanted to be in charge of our destiny. If we were doing well, we could grow more. If we weren't doing well, we could pump the brakes. If we needed more training, we could do that. We could bring in the people that we wanted to bring. And that started the journey, December 2008, right before the last recession. I was working like crazy, grew it to 7 or 8 offices, started pulling back, had amazing people around me. Many of them are in this room, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for those people supporting me, my team. And then that journey has continued here to where we grew the company. We had a lot of interest from different private equity groups. We sold a piece of it to Blackstone a few years ago, and we kind of continue to grow. So I've grown from being a kid who didn't know where Baywatch was and in Jacksonville, to starting a business, to living the American dream, to loving everything about it, to doing something I really get up and love doing with the people I respect and admire being around, and helping people have better smiles. So, in closing, what I'd leave you with is life never goes as planned. So embrace when those bad things happen or things don't go as planned. That's not a bad thing. Maybe that's just a sign to kind of pause and slow down. The second thing I would say is adapt. Just like I had to learn what fries are and change, especially more than ever at this point. Learn to adapt and change. Maybe it's careers, maybe it's family, whatever it is. And I think the last thing is you define your own success. you know, the journey ends when you say it's over. But until you say it's over, you're still continuing it. You haven't failed. And there's this notion today of rushing through stuff and just getting it done. You've got to be able to persevere, because if you can hang around long enough, you'll win at the end of the day. So it's my honor to be here. Thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure. I wish you guys the best. Thank you.
Okay, don't go away, because now's the big unveiling of who has won, right? Hang tight. We're bringing in the big checks right now. Give us a couple minutes.
If Dean Percool is here, we'd love for you to come up here and help present. Dean Percool, if you're here, we'd love for you to come up here and help present. Before announcing the results of tonight's competitions, we are really excited to recognize this year's Draper Pitch Merit Award recipients, each of whom demonstrated exceptional promise, thoughtful innovation, and strong execution throughout the earlier rounds of the competition. While the Draper Pitch journey is highly competitive, these individuals stood out for the quality of their ideas, the clarity of their vision, and entrepreneurial potential. In recognition of their work, each recipient is being awarded $10,000 to support their continued development and their venture. We are proud to celebrate their achievements, and we look forward to seeing how their ideas continue to grow beyond the competition. Hamza Hamad, Adam Abassa, Naveed Mian, Mubarak Oyegunle with Unilink. Yogeshwar Reddy Thoda and Naruj Nukubin with ECG Biometrics. and Hunter Solano and Arlan Marut with Elderling. Congratulations to our Merit Award winners. Your work reflects the innovation and entrepreneurial spirit of UT Dallas. All right. And now we will move into the awards presentations tonight. As with the presentations, we will announce our winners by track. And tonight, as you know, stakes higher than ever. Each winning team will walk away with $50,000 to accelerate their venture. It's the largest award in the history of this prestigious competition. So we will begin tonight with the undergraduate track and the recipient of $50,000. And it goes to sales pilot Fardeen Ahmed. All right, second place, and a mere $30,000. And it goes to MedScepter, Ivan Tong. And third place at $20,000 goes to PoolControl AI, Nathan Wright. And now moving along to our graduate track, we will announce our top winner tonight.
Hold on a sec. We're going to bring all three out for a picture.
Okay, let's do that. Okay. All three, let's come on out. All right, great job, guys. All right, here we go. Let's go on to our graduate track now. Our winner, our top winner, again, $50,000. And our top winner tonight for our graduate track goes to RadMap and Andre Seguire. And our second place winner, $30,000, goes to Helio Ops, Sindura Anamolu. And our third place award and $20,000 goes to NanoPause, Ismail Kasimi. If all three winners would come on out, we'd love to get a group picture. All right, it's our last track. It's our alumni track. And the winner, first place, and $50,000 goes to MusicQ Bio, Senior Corsundi. And second place in our alumni track, and $30,000 goes to Will Call, Diana Carnero. And third place and $20,000 goes to GoICure and GoIRetreat, Kamuda Srinivasa.
We finally learned where to stand.
We'd like all three winners to please come out. If you're part of the alumni winning crew, come on out.
Come out with your checks. That's big checks. Yes, and smile.
Carol, here they come.
And I think we want to try to get all of our winners, all of our contestants, please make your way back to the stage. I want to take a big group photo with all 9 winners tonight.
Make sure you smile for those really big checks.
All first place and all
And I think we're going to do one big one. I think we're going to do one big one with no checks. We're going to put our checks down and take one big group photo right quick.
Tell them not to go away, we got reception.
Okay. Want to remind everyone at the conclusion of our picture taking up here, we've got a big reception out in the atrium, and we want to invite everybody to that. So hang tight for that.
I'm so proud of you. I got it.
2 more. We're here.
So we wrap up and take our final photos. I want to thank Tim Draper and the Draper Foundation, our keynote speaker, Dr. Sulman, Ahmed, everybody who helped out in making this possible tonight. That's going to conclude the Draper Pitch Competition finals tonight. We invite you to take a moment again on your way out to enjoy some refreshments, to meet the competitors, meet the judges, the VIPs in the lobby. Thank you guys so much for being here, making this such a special event. What great talented teams, and we can't wait to see what they achieve next. We'll see you guys next year. Thank you guys so much.
Perfect. Very well done.
Thank you. Sure.